just getting into the expected champion pool. If you look at his solo queue, he's playing Kennen, Jace, Kled, and Rumble. So he's definitely up to speed on the meta. Highest win rate of that is the Kled. So maybe Ixu will have to deal with a Kled of his own in this game. The debut game for Rascal.
That'd be a nice little statement to make. Pick up the Kled yourself and just smack the hell out of him with it. But for now, Syndra's still going to be banned away, not going to be left open for Kuzan again in this game. And Kennen off the board, and no surprises from the ZAC ban from the side of Jin Air.
Rascal actually played first in Japan. He was on a team there aptly named Rascal Jester.
Oh boy.
Coming back to Korea to join Khan. Probably was brought in just to be a substitute or even necessary to provide some competition for Khan, because they couldn't have known that things would go so explosively well for Khan in his re-debut into LCK. So
I mean, we know Longzhu just has a history of wanting the most players possible on their sub-roster, so not too shocking that they pick him up, but interesting that he was playing in Japan.
Previous game, Longzhu banned 3 junglers on red side. Jumping onto blue, there's going to be some change in the ban priority. But now, Elise and Lee Sin are both left available. Would love there to be Elise on his side, so to Jin Air give over Elise and actually get to pick up Lee Sin. That is an option available to Jin Air if they don't ban a jungler in this spot. I think it might be smart. I think getting onto one of the two is good. I really do like it. It's a good decision from Jin Air, in that they guarantee themselves a jungler to allow to make some plays in the early game.
Yeah, well, Jace off the board this time around, and like you said, Elise going to go ahead and get picked up first and foremost here for Longzhu. So Cuz piloting that one out of the jungle.
Will get to play Lee Sin, which seems almost 100% it's going to be the pick on the side of Jin Air, and they're also going to pick away the Ashe from Prey. So in his 300th LCK game, Prey is denied playing one of his signatures. Will he jump onto the Twitch, which he's played once this season, to give us another pick to remember?
Yeah, it was against BBQ that we saw that one come out, but
thinking of Prey champions is always an interesting thing. Ezreal is perhaps one of his most famous. It feels like Ezreal, Ashe, and Twitch are perhaps the big 3, although Juggernaut was a comp invented by the Coup Tigers. So will it be something from the past, or will it just be a strong meta pick? Because Varus would definitely just be something that is powerful right here and now. Maybe no sentimentality coming out from Prey.
On his 300th game as well, so feels a little bit bad if they lock in the Varus, but seems like they won't be going for anything too flashy, so Varus will just be the pickup.
You know he'll go for some ult flashes and do some cool stuff anyway.
He'll make it as flashy as humanly possible, but the kit itself, not going to be. But, I mean, already the makings of a powerful pick comp coming through here for Longzhu. Have the Cocoon, have those Chains of Corruption coming down, and like you mentioned, the Kled, big pickup for Rascal. Might just see that locked in here in the first round.
Maybe a cool champion to definitely lead with and to potentially mind game future opponents, that you have someone that can play Kled, and they still may select it, but it's also a bit of a mind game towards the side of Ixu, given that Kled got very little work done in game 1. I mentioned that's not a true flex pick, but it is a possibility. BDD actually, on CJ Entus, played mid lane Karma when they took down the only time in his career they've beaten SKT in one game. It was with BDD on the Karma, but still not going to be heavily expected. And in this spot, we'll see Kuzan actually go for the Orianna to start banning mid laners. So far of the mid lane champion pool, Galio and Syndra are the 2 big mid laners there, and potentially the Jace as well.
Talia going to get banned away. Maybe we'll see the Zed for the final from the side of Jin Air.
Zed does really well in side lanes against Ashe as well, so get double value out of it. Orianna can do decently in lane against Zed. It's always been one of those skill matchups that, working out exactly who it favored, kind of changed as itemization power went up and down, lethality and other AP core items being tuned so many times over the years.
Oh, Zyra banned away, so Longzhu going to be focusing on the support pool a little bit from Snowflower. Try to limit him as best as possible. See a couple different things from him, including the likes of the Braum, but Zyra has definitely been his big one so far in summer.
Tahm Kench would be a pretty good ban on the side of Longzhu if they want to ban double support, just because of Varus and Elise are answered by that pick. But also even be a selection for Longzhu if they're going to be going with the mid lane Karma to be revealed. Rascal does draw the Respect Kled ban, so don't want to deal with that. Just going to focus on laning power. So Longzhu say, okay, if you want to go for Tahm Kench, at least we will have the 2v2 pressure advantage and allow Cuz to play more aggressively. Cuz's best performing jungler for sure has been the Elise, so was a big claim for them, even if Umti's on his best champion himself.
Looking through a couple different options here. The Braum makes sense. Ability to block out those piercing arrows, deny wave clear, so they will go ahead and pick that one up. So bringing it back out of Snowflower.
Well, that was quick.
And yep, I mentioned it. Wasn't banned away. They went for the Kled instead, and it's going to be Zed in the mid lane, and all of that rhymed. Didn't mean for that to happen, but Rumble in the top lane as well for Rascal.
Doing your best, Dr. Seuss there. Rascal has played 61 games in solo queue, 49% win rate, so not expecting him to be Huni or Marin or Smeb on his first time out on Rumble, but does mean they have double magic damage to facilitate Zed with the Elise jungle. So it could be, once again, the Sejuani coming out from Ixu, and it will be. Dealt with ADD playing this 3 times in a row in the first series of summer season. Has played it himself, so a pick initiator coming in from the top lane. The Karma was also kind of forced into the support role by the Braum pick, because if you go mid lane Karma and Braum puts up his shield, Karma doesn't really have any more damage threat, so it actually does kind of single-handedly trivialize a mid lane Karma, and that's a happy news for us, Achilleos, because it means that we get to see BDD back on Zed.
Always a treat when he picks up an assassin. Doesn't matter if it's Zed, the Fizz, the Talon, just BDD on an assassin is always a good time.
You speak for yourself. I want to see him on Zed. Zed was the champion that gave rise to all those highlight videos that got us hyped for Zed and hyped for BDD coming into his career. The CJ side didn't go so well. The Longzhu side is looking a lot better here in summer as Rascal does replace Khan due to Khan's health concerns today.
Yeah, we'll see how that matchup's going to go. Picking up the Rumble on your debut. A bold move in a league, you know, with so many good Rumbles. We'll see how Rascal holds up. How he goes against Ixu, who has been struggling. Kled this time not in his hands, keeps trying to make that one work, but instead will be that Sejuani again.
But the big historical highlight is the 300th regular game of his LCK career for Bray. 3rd player ever to reach that milestone. One of the superstars of this league. Should be a fun one. The Sejuani top also going to be one to track.
All right, well, 300. Let's see if they can go ahead and finish it out with a win as we load up for game number 2. All right, here we go. 300th game, Prey in the bot lane on that Varus yet again.
3rd player to reach 300 champions or LCK games. The crowd gives him a really nice round of applause, picking up on that graphic from OGN. 1st player to reach it was, I believe, Ambition. Could have been Score as well. Those are the only 2 that have reached that milestone. The person who would have been the front runner if he hadn't left would have been Madlife, who had been playing from right at the start.
Invasion coming through here as they start pushing in, because the blow stacks are going to come through. Exhaust thrown down. Yeah, they're going to go for it. Flash forward from Snowflower, gets the stun. He's going to go low. Can they save his life? The answer is going to be no. Umti comes up with the first blood. And a nice little invade. Big profits for the side of Jin Air.
2nd time we've seen Rambo Braum engages at level 1 with just a couple of concussive blow stacks, and also the exhaust coming through. Gets them the first blood, but they use a lot for it. We have to reevaluate because 3 flashes and an exhaust is a pretty big amount of your toolbox to use at level 1. And now you have to deal with double range in the bot lane with a no summoners Braum, and you don't get a lot of experience from a level 1 kill involvement either. So with so much being down, Jin Air could also be punished in the jungle, because although Cuz doesn't have his flash, you get the early push on Rumble, invade in on the Lee Sin. You could potentially take him down early.
Yeah, I mean, even though he's starting with that extra longsword, Cuz, if he can find him, there's quite a bit of damage early on with that Elise. See how cheeky he wants to play this time around. Got pushed around early on in the first game by MT, and already gives up that first blood here in game number 2, so might be out for revenge.
Has picked up a pair of MVPs on Elise already, so we'll see if it can be a good matchup here for Cuz. It was opted into for Jin Air. They understood that Cuz would take Elise, but it did guarantee the Lee Sin over to Umti, so was a fan of them not opting into banning any junglers after Zach was banned earlier. And Umti has been that big, important member for the side of Jin Air GreenWings. So we'll see if he can once again deliver on this Lee Sin.
Yep. 3-2 so far during the summer split. Lost 2 games against MVP with it, otherwise has victories throughout.
Doesn't necessarily represent a 5-0 like for the reputation I'm giving for him, but his performances, the cleanness of his Lee Sin has been impressive. So it is still something to continue to track during the course of this game.
Yep. Oh, and already paying a visit down to the bottom lane. This looks a bit like game 1. So without the J4, Sonic Wave comes through, resonating strike in onto Gorilla. As that Thunderlord's proc works him down pretty low, but they can't quite get the stun, and takes a lot of damage in the exchange.
Well, that summoner advantage is gone. 3 summoners instantly have to be used by the side of Longzhu, so crazily, Jin'er now have a advantage in the summoner department in bot lane. Does mean that he might give up his Raptor camp for it, but definitely worth on the side of UMT as he...
Well, it's warded out, actually, so the wraparound could come through if they really want to fight this out, but actually UMT just goes ahead and starts pushing into the enemy bottom half of the jungle. But not going to find anything Raptor's already taken. So he's just going to go ahead and get a recall in. Start those items coming through.
Because BDD has that jungler on the top side, happy to walk in, just E down the minion wave and fully push it in. Not going to allow any freezes to come up for Kuzan in the mid lane. Kuzan's gone cleanse, respecting the Varus and Elise, but it's only going to work on the ignite from BDD. So doesn't necessarily help him too much in the dueling. A lot of players would go barrier in this spot, but Kuzan is thinking more about the team fight phase in the lane. What that means, you can kind of follow the logic and you say, okay, if he's going to take cleanse here, probably means he's going to give up more CS than some mid laners. Someone like Faker would fight the Zed for every CS as a range versus melee matchup. But if you're taking the cleanse, you're clearly already thinking about team fights. You're going to see a healthier CS total for the Zed than you might against a different Orianna player.
Yeah, just concede some of that over. And focus on scaling up. Get ready for that late game. You know that Jin'er is very well versed in. So no real surprises coming out of that. Now visitation over to the mid lane. BDD throwing out that shadow. If he had jumped forward, almost certainly would have been latched on by MT.
And now popping his first potion, so in a terrible spot. MT had given up on potentially finding a gank there, so he walked up early.
I mean, Snowflower is there to back him up as well. The recall came through from Teddy in the bottom lane, so just rotating up in case he was needed. But for now, Jin'er just going to maintain a gold lead that's about as big as that first blood bonus.
If that means that Kuzan is going to be on the back foot in the mid lane, and we know Rumble will be pushing up in the top lane, potentially be that jungler's paradise for Cuz to have his way with whichever quadrant of the jungle, or even potentially start dueling down UMT, given that you can see the pressure advantage is pretty one-sided for the side of Longzhu. Usually you're not afforded the ability to just drop pressure in 3 lanes without losing the game around you as a jungler. And Longzhu have already been very good at capitalizing on pressure in their now 4 matches during the course of LCK Summer. Weather in the Storm is just too hard in this day and age. Because gone is the Flame Horizon in the laning phase, freeze the minion wave. There's just so many great objectives you can take around the map if you have map pressure.
Yeah, I mean, really good job by Riot to actually turn Rift Herald into a massive objective that teams want to get their hands on, because for the longest time it was just always there in the background. You know, you're so far ahead, there's nothing else for you, but it's going to be an engagement down to the bottom side as Bray gets exhausted. Teddy will do the same as both just trade back and forth. Heal comes out, piercing arrow through. Teddy's going to come out on top of this one. Gorilla going to try to answer as best he can, flashes away. He does not get locked up, and Rascal joins in the fight, throws down that equalizer. It's his debut game, we'll give it to him, but Teddy's just going to run into the turret, and I think that's just going to be the kill coming through for Gorilla. Yeah, with a slight little attack on there from Prey. Does get the assist, but not the best first TP for Rascal.
That was a terrible equalizer, just terrible. It didn't do anything at all. It was a zoning equalizer against 2 people.
It got some minions.
Don't even.
It killed
No
some
glass
minions.
Huffle. You're not Atlas. You don't get away. It's just an awful ultimate. The teleport was great. He should have got a double kill.
I do agree with you.
He's 0-0-0 after that teleport.
I don't know how Snowflower got out alive in this situation. Oh.
They even got to give the kill over to Gorilla. He got no kill involvement, Achilles. Oh, no. How bad is Config? Can someone get a doctor out here to investigate his symptoms?
Yeah.
Well, you get another equalizer, so maybe the next one will be better.
Yeah, he gets another TP, but Bray. Bad spot. Oh, wow. Actually, just goes to the other side of him. They should still have this kill, you'd think. Given the HP bar coming through. More hits. There we go. Finishes them off, but that was almost a massive botch by Snowflower. If Gorilla was just a little bit closer and had a shield for him, would have been Prey walking away.
Could actually just track back and say, why was Prey so far up the lane with Gorilla in base?
Oh, for sure.
Khan leaves and Longzhu suddenly turned into a pumpkin.
But still, the more questionable thing was that flash by Snowflower. That would have been one of those really just feel bad moments if he had gotten out alive.
We've had a couple of those this game.
Yeah. Definitely not as bad as the TP.
I don't know if the TP was the problem. It was the equalizer.
Okay. Definitely not as bad. Well, everything that he did was just bad.
The TP play was left us wanting.
Everything that followed hitting the channel. Hitting F.
You can consider hitting Alt F4. But that would be too mean-spirited.
Yeah. And
Look,
also probably would punish the entire team with a penalty.
That's true. No more penalties for Longzhu. They dropped points last season, you remember?
Yeah.
A couple of teams did that.
So did Samsung. Need to avoid that. As well as being late to the studio.
Yeah, that was the... To be fair, we remember the day in question. That was torrential, like monsoon weather.
Yeah,
so.
there kind of should have been some leniency on that.
It took us 3 hours to find a taxi home. That was not a good day. LCK broadcasts so long.
Wait, no, that was
No, that was that day.
Well, that was a blizzard.
Sure.
Torrential
Blizzard.
makes me think of rain.
We don't talk about Blizzard on this stream.
Yeah.
We talk about Riot Games.
Yeah. Riot Games just raining just pouring down from the heavens.
Giving SKT skins to all.
For $9.99.
We don't know the price. We don't get told anything.
Yeah.
We find out when the fans do.
That Coma Award skin's so great, though.
It is actually really
That's actually the best part of all of the skins, in my opinion.
Well, Umti's been here a while.
Oh. Well, Ashar comes out. Hitbox still is going to clip in on the Prey, and he's going to go down. Umti patiently waiting in the wings does pay off for him. Scoop that one up, hand it over to Teddy. Now they're looking for first brick as well. And Umti, he's going to go deep. Jumps in onto Gorilla. Can't quite get the kill, but is just pushing him back, stopping him from offering up any wave clear. Q comes down, not going to hit the minions, so turret still will fall. Jin Air to a very nice lead.
Yeah, everything just really come together for Jin Air. Falling apart for Longzhu. The first death understandable for Bray. The second one just walking to lane too recklessly. And the third one waited for a long time from Jin Air, but they pull it off. And Infernal Drake is a pretty big reward on the backside to add into the first brick they already took down.
Can't quite go for it, though. Gorilla will delay this recall from Snowflower and knows that there's somebody in the brush. Process of elimination, I think he could guess.
Teleport advantage does Rascal. I believe it's up in a half second.
Is it an advantage?
I mean, it means he's going to be there. That's at least scary-ish.
All right, well, we'll see how it goes this time around. If he pops it out, Ixu's going to have his in about 15, 20 seconds. Word's coming down, and the Dragon's still leashing through, just chipping away at Gorilla where it can.
Jin Air just playing the leash game is a win for them because it allows Ixu time to get his teleport back up, and then the ability to react first starts to go away.
See the swap coming into the mid lane as Teddy starts roaming over. Trying to lock down BDD as best as possible, make sure that he really can't go for any CS. So far, he's been having a pretty easy go of it. Just 6 behind at the moment as he finishes those off under the turret.
The bigger problem for Longzhu is that they had this pressure draft. We talked about how they had, at one point, pressure in 3 different lanes. And pressure drafts usually need high-tempo play and consistent turrets going down and objectives going down to win. In the late game, Sejuani and Ori are going to be insane in team fights. And having already lost first brick in the bot lane and starting to lose pressure around the map, a flow-on effect here for Longzhu is they have actually a surprisingly large deficit to come back from. And it's not the 2,600 gold, it's just they're not playing towards their comps so far, and they're behind in gold, and that's a pretty big double whammy.
Yeah, just sloppiness as well from a lot of the players here. Rascal, of course, with that equalizer is very questionable, but even Prey pushing so far up the lane and just getting killed, resulting in that first brick coming through. Umti will be able to go ahead and finish off this Infernal Drake, so just adding more of a lead on for Jin Air.
No point for Rascal to try teleporting down. Would have been matched by Ixu, who's just about as strong at this point, and the side of Longzhu is very, very weak. Already Blade the Ruin King completed for Teddy, so couldn't opt into those fights, and they would have felt lucky when they saw the Infernal Drake spawn, given the comp they had, but that luck has already run out for Longzhu in the early game.
Who not going to connect there, so can't even try to chunk down the Lee Sit. Safely walks back into his own jungle. And you can see Longzhu just kind of scrambling around the map, not really sure where to respond. And we'll be able to keep Prey down on the bottom side of the map, so he can get a bit of a CS lead moving in for him and try to hit those big item power spikes that he needs, because you can see Bork already completed here for Teddy.
And that's just kind of a consolidation for Longzhu. They need to start addressing some of the forward vision that's been put down by Jin-Air, just return to fundamentals. They still have a lot of power in the lanes, especially early. And because so much has gone away from them, you don't want to necessarily keep playing high stakes and fall behind due to item timings that have already been picked up by your opponent. Try and set yourself up for a strong 4-1, which, given that Zed has been unanswered in laning phase, only 5 CS behind his opponent, is still a possibility for Longzhu Gaming.
We're looking to make something happen around this mid side. Starts pushing his way forward. Kuzan waiting in the brush. Will now be spotted.
But the vision for Jin-Air is in the bottom side, so information-wise, they have an advantage in the skirmish that's developing.
They have it placed pretty deep as well into the jungle, so they can see those rotations coming through from the Elise.
They know that Elise and Varus have left, so no implied pressure around Raptors like there was a moment ago. Not really objectives to take. Infernal Drake was only just picked up, so...
Rift Herald pretty much going to be the next one. Unless they can get into a position where they can get on top of a turret and try to finish that off.
Longzhu will be happy to just have Varus solo farming in bot and Gorilla around to give movement speed to BDD.
Oh, Asher is going to come out. Goes wide.
If BDD walks up, he can ult to dodge the arrow, and if he hangs back, he had Gorilla there with the shield, so he's in a good spot. But speaking of Lion CC,
Ixu over the wall is going to go ahead, throws out that Glacial Prison, locks him down, and he'll get taken out. No real chance to respond for BDD, just hiding that ultimate through the wall. So very well rotated by Ixu, and like I said, looking for that turret. Equalizer comes down this time, is actually putting away the minions, keeping the turret up at least for the moment, but Teddy feels more than happy to try and get this one down. Yeah, flash forward with the Chain of Corruption, and Prey actually gets him with the piercing arrow, takes him out. Turret now will fall, empty low, locked in, will go down. 2 kills picked up here for the side of Longzhu, a 2 for 2. As Gorilla did fall, but the turret still goes to Jin-Air.
Really nice snap. He flashed and ulted, managed to catch Teddy, and then killed him because he was tanking turret and the final Q as a fadeaway. Much better from Rascal there, rotating down. He was second to rotate, but just ulted the minions, and the tanking of the turret by the Ashe for 2 shots is what won them this little engage. So Ixu just throws the ult, and they instantly pop Zed. Nothing he could do there for BDD. Rumble is roaming down, ults the wave, but watch how Prey enters his fight. Sees Teddy tanking up, instant flash flick into the Chains of Corruption. 2 turret shots and a Q takes him down. They pick up another kill on the back end. So to go 2 for 2 with where it was at and not just give up a free objective is pretty decent from the side of Longzhu.
It also looks like he bent that piercing arrow right around the Unbreakable Shield from Snowflower to clip Teddy in the backside. So... good stuff by Longzhu, but still losing out in the objective game. Haven't been able to take a turret for themselves. And now the ward control is starting to come through from the side of Jin-Air up this top side of the river. So maybe Rift Herald on the horizon for these guys as Teddy gets that top wave moving.
Certainly it does feel like they're going to go academic here by trying to take down a 3rd outer turret and then pick up the Rift Herald to break bases further. Sejuani is on the bot side but has teleport, so for now they can definitely look to make a play around the Rift Herald. 2 more control wards in the inventory, 3 if you include the double stack from Snowflower. BDD's been very well contained so far, kind of had to watch other lanes making mistakes around him, and now the map is kind of narrowing from the side of Longzhu in terms of places they can actually enter.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great catch to be able to take him down for that 1 death, and otherwise, I mean, he's been CSing well, but there's a Zonia's already completed for Kuzan, so the kill pressure just goes right out the window for the Orianna.
Does mean the Orianna's on a lower damage build herself, so that's a small silver lining there, but only pretty remote one. Ix has been able to build purely lane-focused himself by going for the Adaptive Helm, which does reduce the damage from every tick of the Flame Spitter. Very good in the 1v1 against the Rumble. Means they can play around the Sejuani lane and dive Rumble if they ever see him under turret.
More objectives coming through here as Empty goes ahead, picks up that Rift Herald.
But this is the new Jin Air. The Jin Air that knows how to win when they have a good start. That's the difference in Jin Air between this season and honestly, what, the last 4, the last 5 since I got to Korea. I mean, I'm already in my 5th season now. Jin Air have had the same problem of meandering in the mid game, regardless of if they had a good start or a bad start, and then it going to 50 minutes, you may win a fight, you may lose a fight, the game ends. This Jin Air seems a lot smarter about how to end the game, about how to move themselves forward when they have a good lead, and that's why, again, it's pretty genius that they avoided banning junglers, got Umti onto comfort, started off with a level 1 kill, and from there, they've parlayed it very well, have Jin Air.
Yeah. You have to wonder about, maybe banning away that Syndra instead. Longzhu could have just banned away the Lee Sin. The Syndra was very well contained by BDD in game 1.
Would have led to a lot of adjustments in the ban phase, though. Zed would have been banned in the 2nd round, so wouldn't have been available to BDD, but I follow your logic. Did feel like identifying junglers for Umti, which is what they did in the first game. 3 jungle bans. All 3 of the identified top-tier junglers, Zac, Elise, and Lee Sin, were banned on red side by Longzhu. They tried to fish for what they wanted on the blue side by avoiding those jungle bans, but has come back to haunt them in a couple of different ways here.
Yeah. Like, when it comes down to focus, Teddy, Umti, obviously the 2 on the side of Jin Air that you would want to try to ban away. ADC pulls in a pretty decent spot, but Umti's been showing up on that Lee Sin, so leaving it available is just asking for trouble.
And Umti's the only player that's really been polarizing the 2. Teddy has been Teddy all the way through his career so far. He's very consistent, even if his team's fortunes were not. Umti had a very, very pronounced downturn in spring season, so it's understandable that he is the one you want to target.
Well, another dragon coming through. Cloud gets picked up for Jin Air, so just another stack for that inevitable Elder Dragon. We'll be seeing in maybe around 15 minutes time.
Now the gold lead really does represent the power that is Jin Air's position in this game.
4K up.
Iceborne Gauntlet Adaptive Helm is a lot of power for the Sejuani. 2 items now for Kuzan, so he'll start to be doing relevant damage. And put down the Rift Herald in mid lane. They look for an inner turret. Varus very out of position here.
Yeah, Prey now going to be wrapping around, trying to join in with the squad. Charge comes through.
Dirty.
Goodbye, HP. The smite comes down, so they do weaken it considerably, but you can see that ball right there from the Orianna, just zoning them back, threatening that shockwave coming through, because there's plenty of pile-on from Jin Air. Shell goes down, Glacial Prison comes through as Rascal gets locked up, and yeah, that's going to be the shockwave not connecting in. BDD going in, straight in on top of Ixu with the death mark, but he gets taken down as if he finds the kill. He'll go low, shield comes out, keeping him alive at the last moment. A double kill now for the Lee Sin, looking for more as Prey goes low. Petty able to scoop that one up, flash away from Gorilla, takes him out of range of the Sonic Wave, but 20 minutes on the clock. Jin Air, the pings are coming through. They're looking for Baron. TP out for Mixu as he rejoins the fight.
There's no backline threat for Longzhu after BDD was not able to pick up the pop on his first kill. 5 members, they turn onto the Baron. Like you say, super early, but reminiscent of the fight that Longzhu won in game 1.
Oh dear.
Quick turnaround. Gorilla's on a one-man mission for information. He's going to get the bad news soon.
No Mountain Drake, but they do have the Infernal to help them out. Baron going over to Jin Air very early on in the game. I mean, basically back-to-back, get the Rift Herald, pop it, go for the Baron. And just really well played, even with the Shockwave missing.
Rumble stunned up, Shockwave misses. I think the equalizer here is fine. He's trying to stop any sort of retreat path, but it does mean that they have to fully initiate in on the fight. They don't have any damage. Snowflower's blocking so much damage with the Unbreakable, and then gold leads and item break even start to become into a factor. Kuzan is able to stay alive, put down the shield, really haste the rest of his team. It's pretty straightforward from there, and Umti's feeling pretty pumped about the situation.
Yeah. And Longzhu overall, not looking great at the moment. And I mean, again, it's not even just the top lane. It's kind of everybody being a bit sloppy. Prey giving up multiple kills at the start of the series, not helping them out. Jin Air going to be pushing in for some vision. They know that Umti's nearby, but he's retreating the opposite way, so won't be able to get into a position to try to get a pick onto the Lee Sin. Instead, have to rotate down and defend this turret. Shockwave comes through. Kuzan yet again going to miss that one. Tries to get the clip in onto Gorilla. Well, certainly would have had the follow-up to finish him off.
Wasn't as a minion wave was coming in, so there wasn't actually the impetus for Longzhu to keep walking forward. They could back away. And that's why there was no pressure. The Shockwave was very likely to miss. They're still going to keep up the pressure, though, very early. So Baron buff minions are very formidable at 22 minutes.
Yeah, and Snowflower just shoving forward, making sure that he can block out. There's going to be the equalizer thrown down in the back line. There's a couple players here on the side of Jin Air and a bit of the minions.
Maybe
they
buys
tried
them.
to delay some.
Just a delay move, like you say. Just buys them a bit more time.
They have to go respond to this top lane wave. Crashing into that tier 2 as well, so it seems like Longzhu just losing out on all fronts. They have to back away from this turret. No way to get back in, so we'll just be going down. So almost all of the turrets outside of the base scooped up by Jin Air, just 23 minutes in. Insanely concise play from these guys.
And a crazy Baron buff power play if they can break the base. Looks like that Longzhu aren't going to put in a serious contest, and the base is broken at 23 minutes.
I mean, this is looking like maybe a sub 30-minute game from Jin Air of all teams. It's only happened a handful of times.
It's like when it comes to summer, we can only make the historical adages about Jin Air so many times. They do not have the longest average game time of summer. That is actually taken by Everate. They were 4th longest, and they're getting shorter and shorter with some of these games. Been controlled, been smart. Can't really level at too many criticisms of Jin Air. Longzhu looked like a different team without Khan. That much is definitely there to be seen. And BDD kind of had the game taken away from him, around him. Zed versus Orianna wasn't a consequential matchup. Fuzan was being defensive. Zed was able to get his items, but bot lane basically being torn apart, both from misplays and also mismanagement of things like the teleport plays, has meant that BDD's been an afterthought, and Jin Air just rotated around and taken almost everything on the map.
Yeah. I mean, you can see had to use the death mark onto Ixu in that last fight, just couldn't get into a position to actually jump onto Teddy. So Teddy's been keeping himself in the back line very safe. So it's been overall excellent from him and Kuzan, other than those missed shockwaves. Positioning's good. The rest has to be worked on for Kuzan.
And we're kind of criticizing target acquisition and team fighting for a Zed, which lets you know the game kind of got away from the Zed, because probably wouldn't really want to be team fighting to begin with.
Yeah. It's less critical on him and more praising from the side of Teddy and Kuzan. So. But look at this, just between a rock and a hard place right now. See the communication falling apart as they double control ward.
A lot of things are falling apart this game. Baron buff starting to wear off, but want to break the base in the second spot.
I was going to say the base is about to be one of those things falling apart. Comes through, they do lock and Snowflower.
Good
There's a pretty
equalizer.
good equalizer thrown down. Yet Teddy going to burn down to about half HP. Buys them some time, but double super creeps in that bottom side means that Rascal has to rotate over. Just throwing out the ultimate is about all he can offer up at the moment, as he desperately tries to kill those before they get in onto the next turrets. Rest of Longzhu trying to hold on to these remaining turrets.
See now another minion wave. Rum was able to clear bottom and come back. Equalizer missed for a 3rd time in a row.
Yeah, no more shockwave there for Fuzan.
Shockwave, my apologies.
He loses the right to use those. I don't think he's has he hit one yet?
He killed Zed with one.
That's okay.
Was a lot of setup CC to make that one unmissable, but every time he's gone for attack move into Shockwave, they have missed. It's been a strange game, this one.
Yeah. This is like when I try to play Orianna in solo queue and we get carried to a victory. I'm just like, I didn't do much, but we still got the win.
Hey, you just put the shield on the AD carry that was 10-0, and you're like, wow, I did my job, I guess.
And somehow you get an S+, and you're just like, oh, neat. I guess the right API doesn't track shockwave connections.
Little victories for the Silver Orianna players. He's going to take an Ocean Drake because he didn't have anything else to do.
Yeah, why not? Just an extra stack if you hit that point where the Ultra Dragon will spawn. They can squeeze in one more dragon before that happens, so it could be a 4-stack here for Jin Air.
Front line of Jin Air is hilariously tanky with where the game is at.
Oh, Ash Arrow comes through Prey, still able to get his way out, even with that Q from the Braum slowing him up. And I mean, what does a victory for Longzhu even look like at this point? Prey just popping off? BDD assassinating Teddy off the bat?
They don't really have the damage to kill people, so it's more of a Jin Air can't break the base again and they farm up for a long time. With where the game is at, I think if you're just free hitting as Longzhu, you're still going to lose team fights. So That's kind of the awkward spot there. They don't really have a good answer to your question, Achilles. It looks like game 3, probably.
Certainly is. Looking that way for a while now. Jenner starts opening up onto this turret. Super Creeps yet again going to be drawing the attention of Rascal down in that bottom lane. In him, will be respawning shortly.
Ixu is shepherding this super minion wave down bot.
He just doesn't care about anything. He is the tankiest.
Maybe a ball carrier and stop the hula hoops from coming through from Kuzan.
Open here onto the turret. They try to clear out the wave. We'll be able to get rid of those minions, but turret knocked down to about half HP. And the top lane wave is going to be crashing very soon as well. So Longzhu have their hands full, but you can see Jin Air. They say, you know what? We're not going to try to siege this up. Let's just go get the Baron, and then we'll break the base. And Longzhu has to respond to this.
Killer Instinct has kind of abandoned Jin Air with their last couple of forces. Now they can try and force Longzhu to come to them, which is a different proposition.
Instead of going for that one, they come back in, down to the mid lane. BDD gets flipped up by that Glacial Fissure. Is able to jump away to the side, so it doesn't even suffer that much as far as the HP is concerned. Get him back up in the bottom lane. Oopsie going in deep. Tether not going to connect from Gorilla. And big Flame Spitter here from Rascal. So that's going to be the big Shockwave coming through off the backside of the Ashe. Arrow connecting. And Jin Air GreenWings just wiping the floor with Longzhu. BDD and Cuz. The only one alive now, I should say, as the double kill comes through from Ixu. And that might just be the end of the game. Big wave already locked up in the bottom lane. Glacial Prison not going to connect. They'll still get the slow up. That'll be the resonating strike as they complete the ace. Jin Air looking to close this one out in about 30 minutes.
And all it took was the first Shockwave hitting out of 4. The equalizer was good. The Shockwave was way better. And Jin Air finally are going to close the game. It took Kuzan's God Hand. He lost it for a little while there, but he got it back, and he'll end the game.
Well, actually, they're just going to peel off this one. So don't want to stick in Gorilla spawning and
still
Prey.
So early. You forget that it's actually only 5 seconds till Prey comes back.
Gorilla's trying to hound him down. Be a bit crazy if he could come up with kills. I mean, Umti is also pretty low here. Can he find him? No, he'll go ahead and be able to recall safely. So no kills going to be found off the backside of that. This does give Longzhu a little bit of breathing room, perhaps, if they can contest the Baron, but it still seems so unlikely.
So Cocoon hits, the equalizer's there, forces Teddy to respond. Okay, this could be the fight for Longzhu, but the equalizer on 4 members gets them all down to a sliver of health, as I keep calling the Shockwave equalizer today. Regardless, the cleanup from there is pretty straightforward. Ixu, low in health, but because of all the items, is going to die very, very slowly. Stays alive through this. They come back. It's a 12,000 gold lead on the side of Jin Air GreenWings, and they just need to hit those ultimate combinations one more time, and they should win game 2.
Yeah. And I mean, they might have the Baron backing them up to make it that much easier. As they start posturing forward around this objective, trying to bait in the members of Longzhu who have very limited vision control. Now going to be cleared out, actually, with that control ward thrown down.
And with this many initiation CCs, 2 of them thrown out.
That'll be the Glacial Prison missing from the side of Ixu, but still plenty more to be offered up from Jin Air.
Still have more if the contest comes in. BD around the backside of the pit.
And if he could get a steal on the Zed, that'd be absolutely insane for his team. Keeping their hopes alive. But basically need to have a steal and need to have multiple people survive.
Jin Air can keep peeling off of the Baron. They have super tanks. So Ixu doesn't care about Baron damage. Waiting for cooldowns here. Ashe Arrow available.
Clearing out these wards where they can. Caso going to go around the backside of the pit. We'll find that ward in a second. There we go. We'll be able to clear it out. Tosses the Cocoon already. T doesn't want to go over the wall. Sonic Wave comes down. Ixu's going to do just that as they start playing forward. TP coming through from Rascal, who is still sitting in the base. BDD gets locked up first and foremost and will go down. Equalizer thrown in. Teddy has to pinch up against the wall. Goes low, but it's still just kiting his little heart out. Keeps himself alive. The shields come through. He's not going to go down. And everybody but Gorilla is dead. TP into the base. This will finally be the finish just a couple minutes later as Ixu finishes off that turret. Jin Air GreenWings, 32 minutes about to be on the clock, will be taking us to game 3.
Not by Ixu's hand. That's going to actually take a really long time for the Sejuani. No damage.
There we go, Teddy
will get there. Lived on a sliver of health. 13,000 damage, 13,000 gold down. It was actually a pretty good attempt at a team fight by Longzhu. Didn't have the beef behind them. Too squishy. Not enough damage items. And Jin Air after a insanely one-sided early game. Carry it over the line, doesn't take 45 minutes anymore for Jin Air GreenWings, and we're actually going to get a Game 3.
Yes, we are. Question's going to be, how is Khan feeling? Does he want to come back in for this Game 3 and try to close it out with a victory, or do they just put their faith back into Rascal?
Well, we knew he was feeling bad. So we'd imagine that it was, an enforced substitution. Rascal, for his part, got better as the game went on. Was hard to get worse, but got significantly better.
He mediosed it.
It wasn't 60 minutes either,
Yeah,
so
it didn't
he's
take
doing
nearly,
better.
Didn't take nearly as
He
long.
learned Rumble at some point.
It's that Korean efficiency. Speeds up the process.
We're being harsh
All
today.
Well, Jin Air find the victory. 1-1 at the moment, but can they close it out for the set? Can they take sole possession of second place spot and I think temporarily even move into first?
I'd like to see them return Longzhu to their 3 bans in the jungle. Allowing Umti to get onto comfort seemed to really address some of the issues for Jin Air in the early game, and they were able to turn them into a victory pretty straightforwardly.
All right, well, now the pressure on. Will we see the return of Khan? It's going to be the question. We're going to go to a break. When we come back, we will find out.